Hello everyone, welcome to the next session on HANA training. In the last episode of ABAP on HANA training, we discussed about information modeling. What is the essence of using information modeling inside of SAP HANA? How to use information models. And then we had discussed about creating a very basic attribute view and one analytical view for sales data. In today's class, we will go ahead and discuss more powers of analytical view. For example, having some calculated columns inside of an analytical view or probably doing currency conversion. So we discussed that HANA is not just meant for a typical read-write database. It's more to it. It has great processing power, and hence we will now make use of such a processing power of SAP HANA. Now I have one announcement to make, guys. We have an opening for one of the company in Nagpur location. So we are looking for ABAP developers and OOPS ABAP developers in Nagpur location for a company called Rubix. So if you are interested, please do send me your resume. I will forward it to the concerned person. So the experience is about 5 to 7 years of experience we are looking, and the expected CTC is about 8 to 9 lakh per annum. This is what we are somewhere looking around. So if you are interested to join the course, please do feel free to get back to me for this particular opening. There will be two evaluation round. One will be a telephonic interview, and then one will be the face-to-face interview, and finally the HR round. So 5 to 7 years of experience we are looking at, guys, with a CTC of 8 to 9 lakh for Nagpur location in India. So if you're interested for this position, please do send me your resume. I will forward it to the concerned person. Okay. So okay, let's continue. So now what we will do is we will just go ahead and talk about creating and doing some currency conversion inside of SAP HANA. So how can we do that? So let's come back to our view which we had created the other day, the analytical view. So I'll just quickly switch to the, yes, recording was started. I'll switch to the package which we had created the other day, and I think it was Apper, something with Apper APR. Let me just search for that package. Yeah, batch Apper. This is the one. And you see that in this we had created an analytical view for sales fact. So what it does is basically getting the sales data with the line item and the sales order tables getting joined. On top of this, we are having a join between the different dimensions with this sales data. And now what I want to do is want to do currency conversion. So you can just have a quick look at the raw data, in which currency the data is popping up for this sales view. So you can just check this raw data, and you see they are in different currencies. So US dollar, CHF, British pound, Canadian dollar, Indian rupees. So I want to now convert all this data to a common currency inside of SAP HANA. And that's what exactly code to data paradigm is all about. You're going to push down your logic as much as you can in the HANA DB. And one possible way to do that is making use of currency conversion within the SAP HANA DB. Let's go ahead and try to achieve this. So what I'll do is I'll come back, and now I'm going to introduce a new calculated column. Okay. So I right click and say new calculated column, and then I will say converted gross amount, and then I'll just choose here the data type, and let's keep it 50 into decimal points. This is going to be a measure because it's a numeric attribute. And then I'm going to pick up one of the column from the existing view. So you can just see here the column, and we'll pick up the gross amount and double click on that. That comes in the formula over here in expression. And now go to semantics and choose option amount with currency code. And now you can choose an option called conversion. So I want to do a conversion of my gross amount coming out of SAP HANA, and this should be converted within the database, within the SAP HANA database. Now remember one point, guys, your SAP basis guy is supposed to maintain all the currency exchange rates inside of SAP system. So if you go and check in your system SE11 transaction, there are tables related to currency conversion. The most popular one is TCURR table. In this table, all the currency exchange rates are maintained. We had also discussed this in the past when we were using a function module to do the currency conversion. So by default, all the values are indeed maintained for currency conversion, and that's not your job as an application developer. It's the job of uh, your your basis guy to maintain these currency rates inside of this. Yeah. So now I'll do is I'll just come back over here and I'm going to choose schema for currency conversion. That's going to be my ABAP schema. So you can see ABAP, SAP ABAP 1. Now, some of you may also have a question, Anubhav, why it's showing here this thing called ABAP and why there is something called SAP ABAP. What are all these two things actually, right? This may be a very valid question in your mind. I will address this question in a minute. Don't worry. You will understand what is this ABAP refers and what is this SAP ABAP 1 refers. Actually, your schema name is SAP ABAP 1, guys. Okay. Actually, it's SAP ABAP 1, the one which we want to refer here. So I choose this ABAP schema, click on OK. That means the system will go and look for currency exchange rates and the currency exchange tables, including TCURR table inside of this schema. Okay. And now comes is the client information. So just put current session client. Don't change this. Keep it untouched. Now source currency is the currency which is coming out of table. So now to just choose column and select the column from the DB from the view itself. So now I'll say to the system that I want to look forward for currency code which is coming out of view directly. So that's the column should be used for incoming currency because that's the base currency of the amount which it needs to be converted. So choose that, click on OK, and now choose target currency. So in the target currency, we will right now hard code it to euro, guys. Okay, or maybe I'll hard code it to US dollars. Okay, so let's do a hard coding of value to US dollar. You can search that or you can directly type in the value. So I want to target the value to US dollar and just do that. Yeah, there you go. Now exchange type is something which is different variety of exchange types you can choose. So I want the conversion to be done based on historical dates. So the value for that is 1003. That's the value you should put. Click on OK. And then next we have conversion date, on what date the conversion should take place. So maybe I'll just maintain today's date. So let's do that. The system it looks like little slow, so just maintain the current date. Okay, and that's it, we are done, guys. And now we have to tell the system what should be done in case the currency conversion fails because of, let's say, data not maintained in the system or for that matter any other reason. So I will choose here that don't do anything in case currency conversion fails, just set the value to null. That's it. Click on OK. And now we are good. You can see a new column have been introduced as part of your analytical view over here, which showcase the calculated gross column. Okay. Now what we will do is we will just click on save and we will activate this. Yeah. Now, what do you mean by making the date dynamic? Okay, so I got your point. So you want to make this particular date as a dynamic date rather than fixed date. You want to put it like current date. I would also ask a cross question to you. Why not currency? Why not target currency? Why not? Why are you making even the currency hard coded? Rather you should ideally if I would have been at your place, then I would say I should input the currency which I want to convert into every time as an input parameter. Okay, so that's something which we will also do it. Just hold on for a minute, let me complete the topic. You will understand what is all these different things which we can do in the system. So now click on OK, and I'll just click on save first, and then let's activate our view. And I'll just do activation here, and you see it's running and got completed as well. Let's go in and look at the test results. I just test the view and now just come here and you can see the gross amount is converted. So you see something which is already US dollar, it's been coming to US dollar. Something which is not US dollar, you see 25,000 and 25,073 gross amount. This amount is converted from euro to US dollar to 23,568, yeah, to US dollar, right? So that's how you see currency conversion done at the DB level. Now this is much faster as compared to you doing currency conversion using the function module, which we saw the other day in OIA scenario. So that is now done at DB level. So majority of your calculations like this, if you push down to the database using your analytical views, you're going to get amazingly blazingly fast speed in terms of your final data results. Clear everyone how to do currency conversion inside of SAP HANA using HANA modeling. Wow. Now what we do is we will just go back, and now my point is that I don't want to probably give and hard code the currency always to US dollar. Rather, I want to give the value of the currency which I'm in, which I want to convert, is probably dynamic. Yeah. And how could that be achieved? That's pretty much easy and possible. So what you got to do is just create an input parameter here and say new. And now what I'll do is I'll just put here the name of the input parameters. Let's say im underscore curr. So you can put any name whatever you wish to, and I'll say parameter type is actually of type same type as my column. So I will just give a reference column as currency code, so that system can also show me a nice F4 help for the values. And then I can also define as a default value. So you can see system has fetched all the possible currency codes from there, and I will say default value is US dollar if user is not supplying it. Yeah. So I just search for the value, and there you go. Click on OK, and now just say OK. Now we have defined the input parameter, but we have not used it, so we got to use it now. So go to this formula once again, double click on the calculated column, and go to semantics, and here now your target currency should not be hard coded to USD. Just do an F4 and choose the input parameter and select your input parameter. That's it, guys. So now every time you execute the view, system is going to pop you up a pop-up asking you the currency code in which you wish to convert the amount to. Always click on OK, and just don't forget to save and activate your changes. And activation gets over. Just do a data preview, and this time you see it's popping up me to supply the currency code. Now you see I can supply any other currencies as well, and that becomes pretty dynamic, and you can quite easily pass these values based on your choice. So I can say euro, click on OK, and now you'd see all the values got converted to euro. So you can see this amount was in US dollar, 10.31 got converted to euro as 10.96. Of course, completely depends on the exchange rates maintained in your DB table, so don't blame me if the conversion is not proper. That's completely depend on the basis guy who has done who has maintained these currency rates. Now coming to the next question, that can you do it dynamically based on current date? So there is a question that we have chosen also the date here as a static date. Now, is it possible to change this date value to a current date all the time? Yes, it's completely possible. For that, what I'm going to do is I create another column in restricted column. Now, you may ask me this question, Anubhav, why are you creating restricted column? The reason behind this column creating restricted column is I don't want to expose the column out. I want to use this column within my view. I don't want the consumer. So who is consumer of this view? Consumer could be ABAP system. Consumer could be another view. Consumer could be a select query which you can fire on this particular view. So I don't want any of these consumers to be able to access that particular date column. Okay, and that's the reason I define it as a restricted column, that nobody should be able to touch that particular column. However, you can also do it as a calculated column and make it hidden. So now you can right click and say calculated column once again, and just choose hidden. So maybe I'll just put here curr date, and I'll just put it as a date type and put it as an attribute. And now what I'm going to do is just going to put a formula here, and there's a formula called now that always gives you the current date in the system. Okay, and just make it hidden. Hidden means no consumer should be allowed to consume it. Is that clear, everyone? No consumer should be allowed to consume this particular column in select query or in abap at all. They won't even see that there's something of this sort exist in the system, and that's purely for the purpose of the view. Within the view we are creating this, and that's why you should make it always hidden. Click on OK, and now see this is little grayed out column. However, this can be used in the view. Now go in semantics and now just do an F4, and instead of this put a column, and of course you can choose an input parameter if you wish to, and you can just attach it to this current date column, which is a calculated column. And now what it does is daily, on the basis of the system, when you execute the view, whatever is the current date, it picks it up, attaches it to the conversion date, and accordingly the conversion will take place. Is that clear, everybody? How to use an hidden column, calculated hidden column, and consume it inside as a parameter. Okay, great. So did not get how consumer will not be able to view the date. I'll show you that, Udit, in a second. Okay, I'll show you that. Now, one question to all of you: do you wish that user or ABAP system use this current date field? Do you think that there is a need for this current date to be exposed to ABAP? Not required. Why do you expose it? And that's the reason we made it hidden. And now I'll show you in a minute how does the query it impacts the query part. I mean, in query you can't use this as well, though it's a column part of a view, but you can't use this column in your query actually. Now let me activate this first, and once it's done, now you can just go ahead and quickly look at the results. There's literally no difference as such, because it's just that a date we have added. To make sure that you test your data once it's done. Clear, everybody, how to use the hidden columns inside of your calculation. Now coming to the query part, so let me just take this view. You all know that there's a sysbig schema in which this view gets generated. Now I can use this view, copy this view, and open quickly a SQL console. So just go to my user, quickly open the SQL console and say select star from the view name, execute it, and you see the data. Now you see there was a column called current date. Yeah, and it's also been exposed here, but this column will not be visible to ABAP. When I will show you that how to consume such a view in ABAP, we actually will be getting into that process soon. Once we create our open item analysis scenario for Mr. James, we will consume the view which we will model in ABAP, and that time you will see if there is any hidden column that won't be consumed in ABAP at all. Okay, however it's visible in the query in HANA Studio. Okay, now coming back, let's do a little bit of aggregation. So what I want to do is I want to now find out, based on each product, okay, based on each product, what is my total sales, or which customer has given me the maximum sales, yeah, or which customer has bought a particular product maximum, what is the volume per product. So I can do that pretty easily on this view. I don't have to now write a complex SQL query joining multiple tables, because this view is actually doing it in a graphical way, the same thing for me. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll say the product text, and I'll say sum of gross amount, and I'll just say execute. Oops, yes, we have to give a group by clause. That's mandatory when you use aggregate functions. And I just have to use now this group by clause with the text property, execute it, and now I see per product what is the total sales you have in your company. Yeah, this product, so per product what is the total sales in your company. You can also sort the results based on your need, so you can just say sort order by sum of gross amount. Yeah, and I just execute it, and now I see this is the product which sold the maximum in the company. Sorry, the last one, this one is having the maximum sale in your company. Clear, everyone? But yet this total is not right because it's all in different currencies, so you get to probably use our calculated column, which is calculating this in a common currency. So let's go back, and the column is converted gross amount, so we should just go and do that and just execute. And now yes, that's the right value, guys. Some places there are nulls in the DB, hence it's calculating aggregate also as null, but that's okay, that's just for your information. Okay, how to store this select in internal table like a variable. So you can't store that. You if you wish to do that, then you have to use SQL script. So there are multiple ways. Again, as and when I will progress the course, you will learn those techniques. So you will see how to consume it in ABAP, how to use this view in a SQL script programming. So that time you will understand. You can take it into a variable and loop at itab, and whatever you like, you wish to do, you can do that pretty easily. Okay. So I forgot what data we had in the view analytical sales fact. So it's basically the sales data. We had a join between sales order and sales order items table. And then on top of it, we have done a join with the dimensions as customers and product. That's the data which we have it in the sales analytical sales view. Okay. So that's about the power of SAP HANA analytical views, what more analytical views can really do. So in a nutshell, if I say analytical view, the purpose, the analytical views are best in calculating aggregates. They can be used to, okay, the purpose of restricted column, I'll come to that. So they can be used to also do calculations at database level, example currency conversion. So as you all know that the analytical views are processed by the OLAP engine inside of SAP HANA, and that's the engine built for calculating aggregates much faster as compared to anything else. Yeah. So main purpose of using analytical views is whenever you are joining fact table with the transactional table. So mainly used in cases where we join fact table with master data or dimensions. Okay. Now analytical views can be also utilized later point of time in calculation view. That's what I will show you in our next use case. Okay, so we will go ahead and we will see that particular use case. And now probably one use case which we had addressed over here, let me note down. So let's say you're working in a company and you've been asked to design analytical view. So you have been asked to calculate which product in company has highest volume of sale. Yeah, highest volume of sale, and that's what exactly we did. We have now an aggregation done, and also we have a join done with the product master record in this analytical view, and now I'm able to quickly write a SQL query to be able to find out which product has the maximum gross. So now the another interesting point, okay, let me just reconnect to my server. It generally happens that my server gets disconnected. Let me just connect it once again. So there is a question here, which information model should be used in real time? It depends. Once again, the choice is yours. If you're doing aggregation, if you have measures, you would definitely go ahead and use the analytical views. Okay. If you want to do complex calculations, probably you will switch to the other type of views. Okay. Okay, there's a problem. So in which cases analytical view should be used? So the golden rule is very simple. Whenever you want to do aggregates or you want to calculate any total, in that case you would definitely be going ahead and using the analytical views. Now guys, with HANA 2.0, the attribute views and analytical views are getting deprecated. So your intention should always be now, if you're working in a company with the view modeling, you would see this concept of attribute analytical views going away. Only and only the calculation views are being pertained, and now calculation views are actually built for doing same thing what your analytical and attribute views can do. So in the companies now these days, what's happening is they are converting things to calculation views. Okay, so everything is slowly getting converted to calculation views. It doesn't really affect much of in terms of performance as well, but that's the reason you should move on more to the calculation views. So let's move on to the calculation view and try to see then how can we build a scenario using calculation views. Okay, so can you show example of calculation view, attribute view, as well as before using analytical view inside calculation view? That's what we'll do now. So what is the use case here, guys? So let's look at a use case for calculation view. So what we want to do now, I as a leader, suppose I am the CEO of ITEIO. Okay, and I as a leader often listen many complaints from customers asking timely delivery and vendors asking timely payment. For products, right? So what does a customer expect from you as a company? Customer expect from you that you deliver the product on time. At the same time, the people with which you are doing business, whose product you are selling in the company, what do they expect? So they expect that you are getting the payment done on time. Now, what do you think, guys? What could be a big problem in a big company like ITEIO when it comes to buying and selling these products? What do you think could go wrong in a company? What do you think could go wrong in such a company ITEIO while working with the products, while working with the systems? What do you think? Have you heard about a game called supply and demand? This is the biggest challenge for companies. Supply and demand. Companies which are unable to judge between the supply and demand, they fail to generate value, they fail to generate profit. If you look at any company today in the world, it's all the game of supply and demand. Okay, now imagine a company like ITEIO where you have ordered 1 million floppies drives. Will this be helpful in today's context? If your sales team have pre-ordered 1 million floppy drives, will this help your company as a technical company, as a company who is trying to pioneer into the electronic goods market and computer system market? Will this help? Of course not. Who use floppy these days? So what will happen? What do you think will happen if I buy 1 million floppy drives from my vendor? I will not be able to sell, right? Nobody will buy floppies. What happens at the end of the day? My cash is stuck. I have spent or I have invested on something which has no demand in the market, and I am stuck with my money. I have to now pay my bills to vendor because I bought already 1 million floppy drives. Now, what do you think, guys, for digital transmission of data? What is that people usually use? Do they use floppy drives? What do you think in modern world people do use to transfer the data between one system to another system? They use USB drives. They use power banks. Sorry, USB banks. Yeah, power storage, pen drives. Yeah, exactly. People use DVDs for movies and stuff like that. They use Blu-rays. Yeah, this is what people do use. Portable hard disk, absolutely. This is what people do use to carry the data physically with them from one place to another place. Yeah, so this is what is high in demand. The above thing would now a loss to company. What happens when I buy 1 million floppy drives? What do you think will happen? I'm stuck. I have lots of stock, of floppy drives, and on the other side customers are demanding these things. Now that's a scrap. It's a block. Now my money is stuck into that product which nobody purchased. However, on the other side, you see there's a high demand from the market, and due to my money stuck with this product, I will not be able to fulfill the demand of the customer, isn't it? So what will customer do? Customer will say, "Acha, okay, you don't sell USB. I don't want floppies. Come on, I will not give a damn. I will buy it from somewhere else." Yeah. So on the one side, you have a customer complaining that product is not available. On the other side, you got stuck with something which cannot be sold out in the market. So it's a balance you have to make. Now, as a CEO, what do you think I should be doing? What do you think I want to do? How can HANA help me as a CEO here? What do you think? So the use case, what's our use case? Design something which provides the details of each product in mainline stream with information about volume of sales orders versus purchase orders, isn't it? So what my purchase department is purchasing from vendor, and what my sales department already has sales orders in hand, and if I can do it per product, so output should look like something like a product. For example, if I just quickly look at some sample data, so output should be, I should be able to get information about, so let me just insert a column on the right, and I'll say product sales order volume and purchase order volume. Yeah. And I'll say product floppy, I have a sales order volume of, let's say, 12 US dollar. However, I have a purchase order volume of 2000 US dollar. On the other side, on USB, the portable USB, I have a purchase sales order which customers are looking for about $5,000, but I have my purchase order of about $1,500. On the other side, if you say Blu-ray, I have orders of about 9,000. However, I just have 600 purchase order volume. Will this report help the CEO to balance the demand supply? Can you see there's a problem with this demand supply? Yeah. High volume of sales order means you have orders already in hand. कितना order है? केवल $12 का. What is the purchase order? What is that I'm purchasing? My purchase department has already raised the order for purchasing these goods. कितना? $2000 का. क्या करोगे? कस्टमर को तो चाहिए ही नहीं. If you want it, probably do it like 20. That's okay, na? 20 should be a good amount. You still left out with $8 buffer. You still have product in your stock even after. But you see the big difference between sales and purchase. That's a problem, isn't it? Do you see this is a problem? Do you see this is a problem? What will be the end result of it? What will be the end result of it? Anybody? What will be the end result of it? An unhappy customer and cash block. It will block your cash in the company with something which is not at all in demand. Here, what will be the result? What will be the problem with this? Unfulfilled orders. No timely delivery will hamper. The timely delivery will hamper. As a result, unhappy customer. Yeah, unhappy customer, guys, in these two cases. Clear, everybody? The use case, is this clear? This is business. ERP is all about business. SAP is all about business. As long as you don't understand business, there's no meaning for you work in the technical area. You need to understand requirement first before you get into it. Yeah. So that's what we want to achieve. So let's go to the system and create one more analytical view for purchase order volume. So we already got sales order volume here. As you can see, this query is already giving me sales order volume per product. सो ये प्रोडक्ट का कितना सेल्स ऑर्डर वॉल्यूम है, इतना है, राइट? इतने सेल्स ऑर्डर मेरे पास हैं ऑलरेडी सिस्टम में. These many sales orders I do have it in system which customers have requested. I don't care which customer, but I have this much of order in the system which people are looking forward for. Yeah. Now, on the same fashion, we will now create purchase order analytical view, which gives you an idea about what's my purchase, how am I doing in my purchasing area for with respect to products. So let's go ahead and do that. Just come down, create another analytical view, and just name this analytical view analysis purchase fact, and just say finish. And now just drag and drop SNWD sales order, sorry, purchase order. I'm so sorry, purchase order table and purchase order item table. Click on OK and just define the relationship between them. So first the client column and then this key with the node key, the parent key. Double click. It's a one-to-one relationship with an inner join. And now I'm just gonna check purchase order ID, item position, gross amount I would need it, net amount I need it, tax amount I need it. I would also need the product GUID. And now let's go till the top and drag and drop our product dimension over here as well, and just join this product dimension with this node key, the product GUID with the node key. That's what I'm going to join. It's a one-to-one relationship. Click on OK. Also calculate the gross amount, the gross purchase amount in common currency. That's what is important. So let's add another calculated column. Input parameter first of all, as we've been doing, IM underscore currency, and just use the default value as US dollar, and the semantic type is from the column type. So it's a column, reference it from the column, currency code it's of type, and then just calculate gross purchase amount. Okay, purchase gross. And let's put a decimal 15.2 with a measure, and drag and drop this gross amount and put semantics with amount with currency code column, and let's do currency conversion to schema from above one. The target currency is going to be my input parameter, and then I'm going to use exchange type, once again historical dates, and just put it as current date, hard coded as of now. That's my purchasing gross. Let's mark in finally the measures and attributes. So I will just go ahead and first select everything, mark everything as attribute, and mark this finally as measure for my calculated gross, tax amount, net amount, and gross amount. Let's do that, save it. Looks cool, and let's activate the view. And now that's your purchasing volume. You can now just quickly do a data preview over here to check what's data we have in the system. And that's my data. You see the product data is also coming up with the product text is coming up. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I just go ahead and now I will just fire a similar select query on this view. So let me go to semantics, the view properties, and choose the view name. It's the same package with analytical PURC fact. So on one side, when you write the query, you saw that we were writing analytical sales fact, and now I'll say analytical purchase fact to calculate me the converted. Okay, it's not converted, it's a different column name which we had put. I guess we had put the name as PURC gross amount. So let's sum that up. Now that's execute, and you would now see when I execute this analytical view, as a result you would find the system will produce me the total purchase for each of the product. Wow. So that's the purchase order thing for the purchase order volume per product. Now what we will do next step is create a calculation view to actually now showcase both of these data together in a single view. So how the CEO wants to see the result, this is how we want to see the result. Sales order volume, purchase order volume in a single line for per product. So product name, purchase order volume, sales order volume एक line में चाहिए. How do you achieve that? So you have data from two views. Now you want to combine two analytical views and build something on top. Yeah. How do you do that? And that the answer is very, very simple. You got to use now this calculation view to achieve this. So let's go ahead and do the calculation view. So multiple analytical views can be added to a calculation view. So right click on our package and say new, and I just choose calculation view and just name it as CV underscore, and I will say sales versus purchase. Yeah, and now that's it. And I'm choosing a graphical view. You remember I told you that there are two types of calculation views you can choose from: graphical and SQL script. Currently I have not taught you the SQL script. It will be a high dose of antibiotic to you if I teach you the SQL script. That's why I'm choosing graphical. Once again, if you are bound to use some time data, time dimension data, the timetables, then probably switch to the time type. Otherwise just choose it standard. Majority of the cases we use standard. Now coming to the cube category and finish. And now what we will do is we will just go ahead and drag and drop our analytical views over here. Now currently the purpose is to just do a analysis based on the text of the product. Yeah, the product texts actually. So we got to use product text. We got to use the gross amount, which is converted gross amount from sales and converted gross amount from the purchase. So we don't want all columns from both analytical views. We just need the gross amount and the product text, and of course some join condition which is common between both the views, so that we can join the data. So that's why I'm just going to first drag and drop something called in projection. So let me drag and drop a projection, and I'll just name this projection. Double click over here and name it. I just say sales data. That's my first projection. And then I'm drag and drop another projection over here and just name it as purchase data. And let's drag and drop this analytical view for purchase over here and analytical view for sales over here. And I don't want all the columns to be exposed, so I just want the converted gross amount, which is this guy, and we want the product ID, and we want the text. Three things we want. The second one here, we want the converted gross amount in common currency, and once again the product ID, and I want the product text. So where is it? It's here. So that's what I want. So we have it just extracted. It's like select column name from table, select column name from view. So you're restricting the less columns, which makes it easy for you to connect these two projections. Okay. Now let's create something called a join here. Drag and drop a join. So that's going to join based on product IDs, and just drag and drop these connectors and connect them to the join. So now both of your projections are coming up over here, you see nicely. And what you can do is just define a join condition with the product ID, and that's what I do. Click on OK, and finally drag and drop this join on top of final aggregation. Just go to aggregation. So you can see, okay, I have to also just select the columns which I wish to. So what you can do is now you have to select the columns which you wish to add in the final output. Okay, that's what exactly you got to do. So maybe I will tell the system that I want the text, I want the converted amount, and I want the purchase amount. This is what I want, guys. So that's what I've added. Let's go to aggregation, and now it's just mark the text as a output, and rest two columns has aggregated output. That's these two are measures actually, guys. Save this, go to semantics, and you see it's pretty much all in. Now let's activate this view, and let's see got completed, and let's go and check the results. So let's do a data preview now for the data, and now you see system is showing me in parallel for each of the product the text amount, the product name, and you see the converted gross amount and purchase amount. See the purchase and sale. Can you see the purchase versus sale? There is no there is no sale for this product. See, it's null. There is no sale for the product. Still your purchasing department created an order to vendors for this product. This is your typical floppy case where there is no demand in market, but your sales, your purchase guys, your purchase department actually made a purchase order, actually made a purchase to the vendors. What will happen? It's a block. इतना खरीदने का क्या जरूरत था? कम खरीद लो. If you want just to maintain stock, like here you see this example, it's not a big amount, you can still manage it. Yeah, this is still less. You see, it's big amount here. They have actually blocked your money for the company. It's a waste of company money. You never know whether you're going to get these many orders in future or not. However, you are stuck with the cash. Clear, everyone? A very comprehensive. And now look at this one, guy. This one, you see, here you have converted gross amount, very high volume, and even the first one. You see, lots of orders are there. On the other side, your purchasing department just created a very few orders. The total, the overall purchase for this particular product is very less. You will not be able to deliver on time, guys, because of this reason. Okay, you can also do one nice thing. You can use another calculation power of SAP HANA and introduce another calculated column which calculates the difference between these two. Okay, so let's do that. You can just say calculated column, new calculated column, and now you can also calculate the difference between these two measures. So converted gross amount and minus, sorry, minus purchase gross. So sales kitna hai minus purchase gross. That's a new column I'm introducing, and I'll say difference. At runtime, this will be calculated inside of SAP HANA. Imagine if you would have to do this in ABAP, pull all the data, sum it up, internal table, and do lots of processing, which is a waste of time. Yeah, and that's a measure. Once again, click on OK. It's been added, and just say save. Let's activate this, and let's do a data preview now. And now raw data, and you see, guys, the difference. If the difference is big, there is a problem. Yeah, if the difference is very big, there is always a problem. If the difference is less, then it's not a big problem for your company. But if the difference is high, some or the other way, either you are blocked with the money on buying something which is not at all in demand, or you will not be able to fulfill the market demand in the company. Clear, everybody? This use case, all these use cases are built by me. You will not find these use cases anywhere on internet. Time for your questions. Let's take the questions now. HANA 2.0, do we derive calculation view? Do we need to create directly graphical view? You can create graphical view directly, Sagar, in HANA 2.0. There is no doubt about it. Everything is compatible. It's been deprecated, means SAP will not provide future support for attribute and analytical views. There is no future development. That's what deprecated means. Deprecated, sometimes the word itself is misinterpreted, because people will think deprecate ho gaya, band kar do, use mat karo, khatam ho gaya kaam. No, that's not the case. Your code is still valid. Whatever you've done in the past, it still works. Whatever you've created in the past still works absolutely fine. But it's better to switch to latest technology. Why are you all learning ABAP on HANA? You are upgrading yourself. You know that there's a power in the market, there's boost in the market, there's new thing. If I go and teach you Visual Basic today, nobody will learn. And reason is very simple. It's a deprecated technology. There is no support Microsoft provides on this. and there's not much of help which you will get on the forums. No support from technology front. Okay, so this is the reason you should ideally go ahead with this. And in fact, ECC will slowly become also deprecated, because all majority of the customers, which SAP customers, are moving to SAP S4 HANA, be it in S4 HANA cloud or be it on premise. So time, it's good time that you guys are learning ABAP on HANA. This will help you big time in your company. Over a period of time, slowly ABAPers and WebIntro developers will start losing their jobs. Okay, this difference column, no need to add semantic. No need to add semantic. Yeah, you don't need to add in semantic. Any numeric column is a measure, guys. Any numeric column is a measure. Okay, so that's what it is all about. Now, how to download the view data to an Excel in a local desktop? So what you can do is, let me just check if there is an option here in the data preview. So hopefully, yes, we have a save option and XML delimited text file. We don't have an Excel option. Now, those who are actually comfortable with access programming, HANA access, I have actually one option in HANA access to do so. In fact, I demoed it in today's class to my all students. So there is something called HANA access engine. It's like application programming within the SAP HANA using server side JavaScript, and we exactly did same today. So I have created an access JS which will be able to read the data from any of the table or any of the view, and it will be able to download the data into your local computer as an Excel sheet. Let me quickly show you that service here which I've created. I can also, if you wish, I can put this code, but I will not be able to teach that in current course. It's not in scope of current course. So here you see I've created an Access JS program to be able to write a select query on any table or on any view, and then I've written a little bit of server-side JavaScript code to be able to create an Excel sheet out of it. When I run this service, right click on this and just say run as Access service in the browser, you would see it would end up downloading an Excel sheet for me. So now it's just running up. So if you wish to know that, I will put this XSJS code into our blog. You can just go ahead and create your own XSJS file into a native HANA application development, deploy it, run it, and it's gonna do everything for you. Actually, my server is down. I have stopped my HANA local instance. That's the reason, guys, it's not working. However, let me show you the one which I down when the server was up. I actually executed that, and you could see I double click on that Excel. You would see that it would end up downloading all your data into the system like this. So this was one product table which I had, sorry, business partner table which I had called using XSJS, and it has downloaded. XSJS is not part of this course. Do not expect me to cover that. That's a completely big course. We are building a complete application in server-side JavaScript, XSJS, and native HANA application. No ABAP here, guys. Purely an application getting built inside of SAP HANA. Everything including application logic, orchestration logic, UI, everything natively getting built inside SAP HANA using XSJS. If you wish to subscribe, please subscribe to my XSJS course. If you just want an introduction about XSJS, please watch my YouTube video. Just go to my YouTube channel. You will find introduction videos on XSJS including HANA CDS. So let's go to my channel. I just go to my channel, and then I'll show you where is it exactly it is. Okay, so you can see here HANA CDS concept over here, and you would also see a video on, you can see HANA access training, native HANA application development, native HANA application access development. So watch out these introduction videos if you're interested to know more about access. 4 hours of videos, very helpful for you to get a basic idea of access and access.js. Okay, but not part of this course. Remember, guys, once again I repeat, very thin line between what to cover and what to not cover. If I start teaching you UI5 in this course, then it's an injustice to you. Okay, if I start teaching access in this course, it's an injustice to you. Our intention here is an ABAP on HANA developer. I should teach you ABAP on HANA, nothing else. Okay, if you wish to join, I'm always open. You can check out my website. Course is available for you. You can subscribe to the course and accordingly plan your learning. Okay, but this is future. XSJS is future, guys. This is what the future is. I would see the future of cloud development application is always native cloud functionality like XSGS and XS Advance. Okay, coming back to the questions. Uh, as we see data preview, it has limited 999 rows. Can we download the data then, right? Yes, with the XSGS you can download it. It doesn't limit there. However, in HANA there is a setting which you can also uh, decide how many records you wish to see in the preview. So when you do just a data preview, usually it is restricting. Let's say here you see 200 rows, it is restricting all the time. You can actually control that. Go to Window Preferences in HANA Studio, and there is something called uh, number of records. Go to SAP HANA, and there is something called modeler. Go to modeler, data preview, and you see no limit. Just switch it to no limit, and then you would be able to see the data from coming out of HANA system, irrespective of number of records. So all the records which are there, it will fetch, but that will be a performance issue for you. Okay, so you can use that setting to be able to control how many records you wish to load from the table when you're doing a data preview on the data. Okay, coming back, so that was the use case for calculation view. With that we wrap up our discussion about information models. However, there is one concept called decision table. I will discuss about that also in our upcoming days. Why decision table is used? It's not at all really relevant for as you as an ABAP developer, but yet sometimes in interview people may ask you what decision table is all about. Okay, can we generate? Can we see the system generated SQL? Yes, you can see that actually. It's very easy. So when you go to the view preview, you can actually check the show log, and now you can see here in the log what was the generated SQL statement for data preview. This was the generated SQL statement for data preview in the log actually. You can see that over here. Okay, that's how you can see the generated SQL statement in the log. Any other questions? Analytical privileges,
Yeah, hi
again, not
Anu.
part of this course. We will not discuss about analytical privileges. It's mainly used to restrict the data access. Suppose you're working in a company and there are different people from different cost center connecting to your system. Now you don't want to give access of all the sales data to everybody. Rather, you want to, when user logs in into the system, you want to see what cost center this manager or user belongs to, and then view will only and only show data for that particular user, only for that cost center. Okay, that's called analytical privileges. It's part of my HANA access training. I'm already covering analytical privileges. There are two types. One is SQL analytical privileges, one is classical. Classical are deprecated. In SQL analytical privileges, again we have three types. One is hard coded, which is fixed value privilege. Second is SQL privilege. Third is procedural privilege. So we can actually code a SQL script and dynamically determine the condition based on which data should be displayed. That's again not part of this course. It's part of HANA Access Advanced course. Okay, as an ABAPer, not much required. How can we consume this view in ABAP? I am coming to it. Let me proceed, guys. If you guys will keep shooting questions, then it will be difficult for me to proceed and show you these things in the real system. So let's go ahead now and try to also
You know
quickly
why
see the restricted column. Yes, please.
on calculation?
Yeah,
Yeah, on the calculation view, you actually first created the projections based on the analytical view created earlier, and
right,
then you made a join. And
right.
after the join, we dragged it onto the aggregations. So, what exactly is aggregation and the semantics doing here? I wanted to know in detail.
So semantics is basically I used to identify which are all the columns which are your measures and which are all the columns which are your attributes. So you can see here any numeric column. I already explained in the last class what is a measure and what is a an attribute. An attribute is a non-numeric column typically. So you can see here the gross amount, net amount, tax amount, and all these values. They are basically measures in the system. And however, these things are your attributes. So this is what in the columns in the semantics we mark. Same time semantic will also offer you the name of the view which has been created in underlying database. Okay, Now those who want to create or use master table, okay, so as we know that over a period of time the attribute and analytical views will be deprecated. So if you wish to create uh, a view on master data table where you don't have any measure, and it's mandatory to specify measure to activate calculation view, but if you're using calculation view for master data purpose, then what do you do? Because you don't have typically a measure in master data like just product name, product description, product category. You don't have a measure over there. So if you still wish to create a calculation view with a master data with a dimension, then you can change the data category here to something called master data. However, it's not right now visible here. Actually, it's not the latest version of HANA Studio. When you go to my HANA Studio over here, I will quickly show you if it allows me to open the model. So I have created a calculation view. It won't allow me, guys, because my connection to HANA DB is already lost. So that's the reason I'll not be able to see that. So you also have a category called dimension. So you can use the dimension category to be able to categorize your view as a dimension, and then it will allow you to activate your view without giving a measure. Okay, that's what system will do. So that's what you can do. Now the another option to also generate the same output is using something called union. Okay, what is a union? Okay, what is a union? So let's talk about little bit on union. Union is like summation, guys. So if you have two tables, let me just draw the tables here. So you have one table is your sales data, and on other side you have your another view which is your purchase data. So you have sales data and purchase data. So you have your product text and you have your sales gross. Okay, and now on the other side you have again product text and you have your purchase gross. This is what you have it in the system at this point of time. Now if I say product is PRD1, the sales gross amount is 100, product is PRD2, sales gross amount is 200, product is PRD3, sales gross amount is 400, product is PRD4, sales gross amount is 600. So that's my data. On the other side, if you look at purchase data, so PRD1, and now you have, let's say, 250, PRD3, 600, PRD5, 800, and PRD6, 950. What happens, guys, when you use a join? When you use a join, what happens in this case? Anybody? If I just join my product text column between them, what happens when I use a join? System will produce what? System will only produce the column data which has data in both tables for product. So it will give you PRD1, PRD3. So another column will be introduced here. Insert a new column to the right, and I say purchase gross. And what system do? PRD 100, 250, PRD3 400, 600, and then PRD4 and 5 not that. That's the only data you would see in the system, guys, when you do a join, right? Clear, everybody? Because join gets evaluated, it gets only the matching record. Now tell me, will this give a good idea to your CEO of the company? Is this what your CEO of the company expecting? There are products for which there is a purchase, but there is not at all any sale. What will happen? There are products for which there is a sale on the other side, but there's no purchase at all. What will happen in that case? What do you think will happen in that case? So that's exactly the case. When you use a join, this kind of data will not be produced out of join. So in that case, you probably have to switch to union based approach, wherein it should do a summation of the data. So now you'll say, Anuba, if it does the summation, then my output is like A plus B. So that's my A. And now if I just do the B, maybe I just, oops, just do C and V. So if you do a union, then you would expect the data to be like this. Okay, like this will be the data. That's exactly the data will come out, but actually you wanted the data to be in the same line. You want to see PRD1, sales and purchase, PRD2 sales and purchase, PRD3 sales and purchase. You can achieve that in the same line even with union. And believe me guys, unions are faster than join. Why? Because system doesn't have to do any comparison between two columns of two tables. It has to simply pick data from first table, pick the data from second table. It's gonna just add up those records and that's it, right? So advantage of union, point one, the missing data of the join would also come up, point one. Second advantage of union is faster as compared to join, because system doesn't really have to compare two table columns together to be able to achieve the desired results. Is that clear everybody, the power of join and why we use join, sorry, why we use union as compared to join inside calculation view? Let's achieve the same thing using using the calculation view now. So I come back and create another one, say new, and I'll say calculation view for sales, purchase, union. And I'm just going to put it as a graphical one more time and say finish. And I'll just drag and drop once again two projections. So I can reduce the number of columns coming out of my analytical fact view for purchase and analytical sales view for sale. And then just do a union over here. Just sum it up, boss. That's it. Sum it up. Yeah. And now let's experience it. Double click and you can see guys, now both of your projections are getting displayed over here. Yeah. Now in the projection, actually we didn't select any column, that's why nothing is coming. So I choose here from my first projection, I want to export out the product ID, the product text, and the gross amount in a common currency. So let me right click, say add to output, the product ID, and add the text also to the output. System is little slow. I would highly recommend you guys don't connect to the system during the class, because it will slow down. If you all of us will connect to system, it will be a problem. So please don't do that. However, you will not be able to practice as well properly. Right click and then just use product ID, and then this gross amount in common currency. Where is it? Where is it? Converted gross amount. Yeah, cool. And now let's go to union, and you expand it and you can see your columns. Yeah. And now you can just say that all these columns has to come together in a single line to produce the required data. And for that, what you can actually do is you can create a relationship between them. And how would that happen is just click on the auto map option, and now you can see system has automatically created a map over here. The product ID of this and this both will be collected in a single line. However, the text will also be collected in a single line. And now for the amount field, you can see system is just creating one link for the amount field for you in the final output. So our final output will be product ID intersection, text intersection, and the purchase gross and sales gross will be displayed. The advantage of such an approach is very powerful. It gives you much broader aspect of your data, which your CEO would be expecting, rather than what you were getting earlier with the case of join. Okay, so let's do this union over here, and now just go to semantics and just quickly mark this as an aggregated column, this is an aggregated column, and these two columns as probably as an output. And we are good. Let's save this. Everything looks cool, and let's activate this. So now you get better idea of the data. It is much faster as compared to option number one. Okay, I just go back, do a data preview, and you would also find the data now in the system. There you go guys, you see now better data. Some products which were earlier not at all coming are now also coming. You see there is no sale for these many products, and there is heavy amount of purchase for these products. See, clear everyone, the usage of union. Why do we do that? Because in joins, sometimes both the table doesn't have the data for same product ID, hence the join will be failed. As a result, you would not be able to see those products, and you will miss out on some of the products which has orders and no purchase, and vice versa as well. Clear everyone, the case of join with calculation view. Okay, so can we join more than two analytical view in a calculation view? Absolutely, you can do that. There is no doubt about it. You can do as many as you want. Okay, but you got to just create in one join block. In this one join block, only only two things are permitted to join. You can create another join block on top. Okay, you can create another join block or union block on top, connect this block with this join and union, and that's what you got to do. You got to connect this to this and this to then this. That's how you should do it. Okay, union is like summation. It's not an outer join. Okay, it's not at all a join. Join means you're comparing a common column between two tables. That's what the join is, guys. Very basic definition of a join. Union is just like summation. You blindly take it, you sum it up and give it. That's what the union is all about. Clear, everybody, what union is all about? Now coming to one quick question which I was also talking before I forget to tell you this point. When we were actually selecting this and selecting the schema, I told you that we have this ABAP and SAP ABAP one. Why they are two different things? And you see similarly here, both of them are different. Why? Why is like this? Let me tell you one important secret of ABAP on HANA. Very, very important. Usually the certified people who come for interview, so-called certified themselves with 90% score, I ask this question to them very, very often. And believe me, till date, not even a single person was able to answer this question. Till date, not even a single person was able to answer this question. Let me tell you what exactly it is all about. So if you quickly look at your ABAP stack, now in your landscape, how many systems you usually have in landscape? Anybody work with SAP in the past in your life? How many systems in the landscape we have? What are all those three? What are all those three systems in a landscape typically you have? Dev, quality, and production. Perfect answer. Now, do you think they all share common database? Do you think they all share common database? Answer: no, they all have their dedicated HANA DB instance. Okay, so let's imagine like this. Now, dev system, let's say name is dev, quality QTY PRD. Yeah, so this is the name of the system. Name is how many digits and how many characters a system name in SAP has usually. How many characters system name in SAP has? Three character. You see this SF4. This is your system name, right? Three characters all the time. So in HANA, usually the schema name will be SAP and your three system SID. So can anybody tell me the schema name inside HANA which will be created for the dev system inside SAP HANA? What will be the schema name? What will be the schema name inside of SAP HANA? SAP dev. What will be the schema name in quality? SAP QTY. What will be the name of schema? SAP PRD. Perfect answer. Is that clear, everybody? Step number one. Is that clear, everyone? Is this clear, everyone? Dev, quality, production. Any doubt here? Anybody? I hope you understand this. This is basics of ABAP. If you still don't understand, I would highly recommend you to take some ABAP training. You really seriously need consulting, guys. If you don't understand the development landscape, I doubt you have taken completely wrong course. This course is not meant for you then. If you don't understand this, sorry to say, but this is reality. Your basic knowledge of SAP is zero. If you don't understand system landscape by now, I assume all of you who are in the room, you are well versed with SAP tech, which includes system landscape, three-tier architecture. You know what is an application layer, what is a presentation layer, what is a DB layer. You know ABAP programming. You've done at least core ABAP in your life. Oops, ABAP is an advantage for you. This is what is prerequisite as part of this course. If you don't know it, you really need to work upon on ABAP skills, guys. Okay, very, very important. You have taken completely a wrong course at this point of time. Okay, coming back. So that's the schema name inside of SAP HANA which gets created automatically. Now I created a calculation view. Where, which layer I've created my calculation view just now? Anybody? Which layer you created a calculation view, for example, here, okay, in your DB, and this view name is, let's say, AT or CV underscore Anubhav. Now, suppose right now the calculation view is getting created in sysbig schema, guys. So you don't have a problem. Let's imagine you created something in SAP dev schema. Okay. You created something in SAP Dev Schema CV Anubhav. When you transport this object, will system be able to create this object in quality? Will system be able to create this calculation view in quality system? It won't find SAP Dev Schema, right? It won't find SAP Dev Schema in QA, right? There is a schema name is different. That's the reason in HANA we have a concept called schema mapping, where we don't put directly the main schema name. Instead, we just maintain in HANA something called a schema mapping. We give an alias name to our main development schema. So what we say to the system, if somebody is pointing above, it means they are referring SAP dev here. If somebody is pointing above here in quality, they are referring SAP QTY. If somebody is referring above in production, we should map it to SAP PRD. That's called schema mapping. So now do you see a similarity between all three systems, which is common? Do you think there is something similar in all three systems which is common? That's your above. That's this name, this alias name of the schema, which is same. This is called schema mapping concept. What system does now, when it transports this object, it passes through the schema mapping layer. Now it knows this calculation view was created in SAP dev schema. Before transporting, it doesn't put this SAP dev behind it, it puts above behind it. It comes here. Before creating and activating the object, it checks what abap means. Abap means qty. It creates this calculation view in qty schema. Clear everybody? Same process repeats for production. Is this concept clear? Schema mapping concept inside SAP HANA. Where do it's being done? It's not done by you. Again, that's not your job, but it's an interview question to test your knowledge, how depth knowledge you have in the system. This is what an ABAP on HANA developer is tested for. वो लोग पूछेंगे तुमसे कि कहाँ करते हो, and it's done into quick view inside a HANA. So just go to window, show view. Sorry, I just go to quick view. There's an option called quick view. Let me just open. Yeah, here you see navigation quick access. Sorry, not that one. Maybe just go to window, show view, other, and search for quick view. There you go, SAP HANA quick view. Double click on that, and now there you go, it's open in the bottom. Maybe I just bring it at the front, and now you will see here there's something called schema mapping. If you open this up for the system, you would find that they have mapped SAP ABAP schema, which is used by your S4 HANA system with the name called ABAP. Clear everybody? Is this clear? Schema mapping, where it's been done in this system over here, it's being done. Okay. Interview question. If you are a certified candidate, I will definitely ask you this question. Till date, I could not find a single person answering my question. If you are a certified guy, your interview level, pray to God that you never come at front of me for interview. If you are certified, okay, if you're certified, never come at front of me for interview, because I'm going to repeat a part. Your interview level is going to be much higher as compared to normal ABAP on HANA consultant. So that's SAP ECC namespace is some other purpose they might have created. I don't know what's the purpose in this system, but the purpose which I wanted to make you understand, that you can understand. Okay, in this particular system, I don't know why did they created SAP ECC namespace again. That maybe for some reason they might have done it. I don't know the reason, but they've done also that in this system. So that's system to system, it depends on administrator, but at least there is bare minimum one schema mapping exists for your ABAP system in HANA. Okay, bare minimum one mapping exists. Clear everyone, the concept of schema mapping? With that, let's move on to our Mr. James scenario one more time. I recall Mr. James, and now let's see what we can do for Mr. James. We are going to first create an attribute view, and this attribute view is going to calculate the average number of open days since when invoice is open. Then we're going to calculate an analytical view, which is going to calculate the total gross amount which is pending per customer in a common currency, which is US dollar. Okay, and then I will show you how to consume that in ABAP finally. and display the result to Mr. James in above and see if we can squeeze out some performance improvement with SAP HANA in this case. Let's go ahead with open item analysis scenario with code to data paradigm using SAP HANA information modeling, our first code technique for HANA native related stuff. There's a lot more new techniques you will be learning in future. This is the first one I'm teaching in HANA code to data paradigm. Let's go ahead and achieve that. So let's go back to our HANA system. Just gonna create that new view. So I'll start with an attribute view. You can actually create anything with calculation view also or analytical view also. Maybe just to make it a little interesting, I'm starting with an attribute view to calculate open number of days. So I say new and I just name attribute view 80 open days. Okay, and now choose attribute view, click on finish. And now in this attribute view I'm going to drag and drop the tables I would need. So I need SNWD, sales order, invoice header, and invoice item. Now you see guys, these are actually your fact tables. Ideally you should not use them in an attribute view, but there's no restriction as such, you can use it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you, because one person was asking can we use an fact table in attribute view. कौन रोक रहा है, use करो ना, कोई problem नहीं है, you can. Invoice header, and I just also add here the business partner table. Perfect, three tables I've added. Let's make it a little bigger. Okay, now I just use the header and items relationship. Oops, I think I've added header two times guys, that's my bad. Let me remove this guy and add the invoice item table. Yeah, perfect. Let's relate them. Client column, node key with parent key. It's an inner join with one-to-end relationship. Okay, and now I'm just gonna choose. Actually, you don't need items table over here, guys. Not at all required. Your header table is sufficient enough to do this, like we did in our ABAP report. Don't need this actually. Now, can anybody tell me how do you know that invoice is still open? It's not paid by customer yet. Anybody? What did we do in ABAP report to mention that invoice is open? It's not yet paid by customer. Anybody who will remember? Yes, payment status. So now first, right click on payment status and add a filter and put a filter equals to F4, a blank value. Very important guys, in your model I've hard coded a filter. Now system is just going to read the orders which are pending in payment. Rest all it will ignore. The orders which are paid, it will ignore. Invoices which are paid, it will ignore. Let's do the join. And here this client column and the buyer GUID joins with the node key of this guy, and they have just a one-to-one relationship. That's it. I'm just going to expose out the company name, the BP ID, the company name, and I'm going to expose out here the node key, and I will also expose out the last changed or created at when it was created the invoice to calculate the average number of days. Looks like sufficient enough for processing the data. And let's add a calculated column, and I'll show you amazing stuff here. So I'm going to calculate an average. So not going to calculate an average, I'm just going to calculate the days difference. Okay, so days difference, and this is going to be, let's say, decimal, or maybe, yeah, decimal, and I'll use 5 2. And watch out, now what I'll do is I will calculate the days difference. So for the days difference, what you have to do is just apply a little bit of formula. So there is a formula inside system called round. First of all, we want to round it, and inside the round to 0 I want to do it. And now I will say inside here I want to do days difference, days between function. And here the first date I want to give as now, the current date. And then I will just say convert to days. I want to basically convert, sorry, yeah. And now in here, I'm going to put my column created at when the invoice was created. So created date. So this will give me the date from the timestamp. Okay. I think this is incorrect. We have to just use another function. There is something called UTC. I forgot the function name. Conversion function. And let me check. I think it's date only, guys. Local to UTC. I think I should do. No, I forgot the function name. Let me just quickly check. I think it's date function only. Let me just check that function in my previous view. Just give me a second. I was indeed just checking that. So there are lots of formulas and functions available inside of SAP HANA. So we can use one of them based on our choice. So maybe just quickly check that over here. What did I use? So round down days between UTC now and date function only I've used, guys. That's the formula. So let's come back and add the formula one more time. So just add a column and I say days difference. Yeah. And I say round down to fraction of zero. And then I'll say days difference, days between function. And I'll put first date is now, which is current date. And then date function to convert the timestamp to date. And in this, I'll pass my column created at. Yeah. So since when invoice hasn't changed, that's what I'm typing. Click on OK. Okay, length scale is important. I just specify it as an double. Click on OK. Yes, guys, days difference is calculated. Now let's go ahead and save this. And just to and check, we have to specify a key, which is important. I will specify BPID as my key property for attribute view. And now let's activate this view. Actually, BPID is not the key, it's the node key which has to be the key because there are different orders in this view. Okay, so node key is the key property. That's what I give. Save this. Let's activate our view. Cool. Let's look at the output. And now you'd see it would just calculate the days difference, guys. Yeah, you can see it is calculating the days difference now between the days. Okay, that's what system is doing. But we need to calculate average. Okay, we have to calculate average. For that, we get to now write a little bit of select query on top of this. So let me just tell you. I just go back to SQL and take my view name, and that goes to semantic view properties. This is my view name, and I'm going to say select BP underscore ID average of the column. Column is 80, column name is days underscore DIFF from my view. That's it, guys. Execute it. Okay, I forgot the group by clause. Very important. Business partner ID. Execute it, and there you go. That's an average, guys. System is calculating. Now I see it's going to a very big decimal. Actually, I want to reduce that, so I can also use a round function here directly in my query to 0. Just execute it, and there you go. It's calculating per business partner the average number of days. Okay, is that clear, everybody? Since how many days the invoice is open. Okay, now can we just go and change it to company name? If we have that selected, actually, then it will be helpful. Yes. So that's the value of average number of days since when invoice is open for each customer. Let's compare this with the output of ABAP report, which we created the other day. Let me just go back and validate if it matches with my ABAP output in the system. I just go to SE38 and let's call OPA OIA scenario, execute it. And you can see for Backer Berlin it was 424 days. Let's come back for Backer Berlin. It's Backer Berlin 1 here actually. What is Backer Berlin? Maybe I check some other data. So maybe just check for Delbont Industries 432. Delbont Industries 432. You see guys, exactly matching. Can you see the calculation pushed down to SAP HANA? Is that clear, everybody? How do we achieve average number of open days using attribute view open item analysis? Very powerful and very easy. Okay, let's come back now to an analytical view. And I'm going to add this view inside analytical view, probably to finally get everything out. And then analytical view should also do an aggregation on gross amount. Okay, gross amount we're going to do. So let's do that. So I'll just go back to my package and create an analytical view. See guys, many of you are asking so many questions which you may not understand until you practice yourself. At least create one view in all three categories so that you can ask right questions. So I would highly recommend you to park your question for today, go and create things, open item analysis scenario in the system once yourself, and then come back with fruitful questions. That would make more sense for me to answer your questions and understand it much better. Okay, so many of you thinking why we have, so many types of views. Again guys, that's what SAP have done now. They've realized that people are confused with so many views and now they're left out with only calculation views. Okay, but the behind the scene functionality what HANA does, they're processed by different engines actually. Now let's go to new and I say analytical view for open item analysis. Okay, or I just say OIA, analytical view OIA. And now I'm just going to choose analytical view, click on finish, and I'm just going to drag and drop once again the tables. And this time I'm going to drag and drop my fact tables including item, SNWD sales order, invoice item, and invoice header. Both I'm dragging and dropping into my base. And now I just join them with sales order header joining to sales order items. Again, once again, you can add a filter here, payment status, apply a filter. Only the open ones you are interested. Client, node key with parent key, one to n relationship. Click on OK. We are done. Let's save this and just gonna expose the buyer guide. And this time, this gross amount, we need to convert this gross amount into a common currency and currency code and product ID. Product ID not required. So buyer guide is enough. Currency code we had already taken. The gross amount from the items table we already taken. Yeah, looks cool. Let's go on the top now, and that's my value. And I'm gonna now drag and drop my attribute view, which is calculating average number of open days. And now I'm just also going to join this buyer guide. Actually, this buyer guide is not available here. Let's add a buyer guide to our view. So I go to my attribute view once again, and I'm going to add my buyer guide as well to the view guys. Okay, we'll do that. So let's go to attribute view for open days, and I will add my buyer guide, which is here, also to the output. So that can be used for join condition. Let's activate your attribute view. So save this. And we will activate this. Okay, it's stuck. Looks like it's processing. Just hold on for a minute. Hopefully it should get activated. Okay, great. So this got activated over here. Now just be very sure, double check. And now let's drag and drop this one more time, the attribute view for open days. And now just relate them. Oops, my barcode not coming, guys. I'll just close and reopen. And I just come here and just add this open days. And now let's join them. So there you go, BioGrid. Let's connect them. And now I'm going to convert the currency to a common currency. So let's add a calculated column. And I'll say um, maybe I just first add an input parameter for currency. And that's of type column. My currency code column. And just choose the value hard coded as USD. And just add the column. Final gross. And just choose it as a decimal. 15 to, it's a measure. Measure should be of gross amount with the currency conversion, and just do it with the schema. Source currency is coming from the column. This is what we learned. And now just use target currency coming from input parameter. And then exchange type is historical rates. That's the most suitable option in this system I could find, which is working. And now just put it the current date. Click on OK. Cool. That's my currency conversion. And now guys, let's go to the top. And looks like final amount is already added to the measure. Gross amount is fine. Everything looks cool. We are just going to run this now, guys. Let's activate it. And we are ready to see the final result of the data. So right now it won't aggregate the results. It will just give you per line item level the data. Okay, it's activating still. Let me just, okay, there's an error in activation, guys. And what the error has to say, model inconsistent. Okay, so this status thing is already existing. The status filter already exists, so we don't need to give the status filter here again. I just remove that. Okay, that's what I do. And now let's try to activate it. Again, there's a problem. Actually, this status is causing a problem, guys. Okay, client already exists. It's saying, okay, there are so many problems. Let's copy this into a notepad and see what's going wrong. And you see here, this client is already existing. Right. So just go on the top. Click on OK. No, that's not the issue actually. That's not the issue. You should not do that. There is a problem with the client field actually. We have forgot to bring in the client field into the join actually. So let's try to do that. Let's bring the client field also into the join, guys. And from my attribute view, currently the client is not visible. So I'm going to get it into the join from the attribute view also. Okay, let's go back. Open days. And let me connect this time the client column as well. And buyer grid as well. Save. Let's try and check. This time will not activate directly. It's giving still an error. There is some problem with the client field actually. Logical joins are different than the physical joins. Is there any problem here with this session client? No. Let me check guys if the client is set for the user. So I go to the security tab in HANA and check for my user mob5 if the client value is set. Yeah, it's set to 800. That's correct only. So some of you may face an issue with client. Okay, let's close this. There is something which we are missing. Ideally, it should have worked. Let me remove the client now. Individual attribute view is working fine. I just showed you in a minute back the output was coming absolutely fine from this. You see it's working. Okay, individual attribute view is working. Some problem it's showing with respect to client. I don't know why. Let me just remove again this client field from here. Something with the client field it's giving an error guys. Just activate one more time. Ideally if you're doing join it's not required to fetch the client. And let me just do that one more time. Let's give a try one more time. I just go to attribute view. There you go. And here we have a join with the client as well. Node key with the parent key between these two tables. This should be removed. Go back. Drag and drop the attribute view one more time. And just jump in with the buyer guide. Okay. Save this. Could that be the problem? Buyer guide is coming two times actually. So let's try in changing that name if we can. We can't change it here at least. Okay, let's try guys. Let's try now. It looks all okay, at least both the levels. Let me try and activate. There's an error. There's an error. What's this error? Why it's coming?
Remove the open days. Just
Can't hear you. Your voice is very low.
remove the open days dimension, right? That will be few. Just bring the this.
So actually invoice header table, since it's coming from the open days also and it's being used here also, both the header table are conflicting. So see, we have used header table in open days and header table here as well. So that's the reason it's kind of conflicting because of see invoice header table here. That's what the system is saying. But ideally it should have worked. That this should not be an issue actually, because header table we need it to actually get the buyer guide. We need header table to get the buyer guide guys. Can we change this column property? Let me just check if I can change this over here. The name of this column is causing conflict guys. This column is causing conflict. The buyer guide column of the header table is causing a conflict. It's very apparent. You see it's client column itself indeed is causing a problem. Okay, I think I got it. What we can do is remove the header table. We don't need it. We just need the node key of the header. The parent key of the header. That's the header parent key. And we can actually create a join with this. So let me go and change my attribute view and also add in open days the header node key. It's already there. Okay, cool. This node key we have already added guys. Now that can be built up. So let's come back. I got it. So let's take it only items table with parent key, and I go back and just join this parent key with the node key of this table. That's it, guys. Done. We save this, and I hope 100% it will work. And there you go, got completed, guys. Congratulations. And now let's go ahead and look at the data. You would not be able to see the data here and understand it well. Okay, there's an error now. User defined function search table error, unit conversion error, gross amount, row 1 could not determine valid conversion rate for this on today's date. So it cannot find the conversion date for today's date. I think we have to change the rule and change it to, okay, let me try with this. Okay, so it's unable to find actually. So maybe we can say ignore. If currency conversion doesn't work, don't fail, set it to null. If exchange rates are not available, that's a basis issue. We are just making it null, and let me activate. Okay, cool, guys. Now it's working fine. And finally, we are ready to see the results. And there you go. Now, we will write a SQL query on this view and get the exact result what we were getting with OIA. Okay, it's converted all to USD now. So now what I'll do is just open the SQL console, and we will write a SQL query on this view. So let me just come back to semantics, copy the view name, and I'm going to choose columns, select star from this right now. Just to start with, look at the columns. So we need company name, total of gross amount, final gross amount, final gross, total of final gross, and days difference का average. So इसका average और इसका sum, and then company name. So company name, final gross, days diff. Okay, company name, average of days difference, sum of the calculated column, which is final gross, and then this group by company name. That's it, guys. What Mr. James need, execute it. And maybe I need a round off of this average because it's going in high decimal values. Execute, and there you go. Now you see the value 1604712. Let's go to ABAP and check this value for the customer, Florida Holiday Company, 1604712. Where is Florida Holiday Company? It's incorrect, guys. It's not matching. Days are 382 days. That's also not matching. There is a problem. Maybe this is due to heavy currency conversion. Let's try with Dell Bond Industry. It's 432 154 1217 154. What is it? Dell Bond. Let's come and check. Let's sort them. Here it is. 1189453. That's also not matching. 432 days is matching. So days are matching, guys, but this final gross amount is not matching. There is something wrong. There is something wrong in our calculation. It's not matching. Okay, think, okay, so now we have to see what could be the cause of this issue of final gross amount. That I have to check it offline. Ideally it should match, guys. Ideally it should come very very close. This currency converted amount to US dollar for this test data which we have in items table should match. Okay, it's not matching. There is some problem. There is some problem which maybe we will just quickly check one more last time. With the items table, I've taken the gross amount. That's correct. Currency code I've taken also from here. I come back on top, and now here I have taken the gross amount, and this is what is converting to final gross. We see gross amount, final gross, semantics, ABAP, session client, currency code, currency 100311 2001. So it could so happen guys that this is a difference because of currency conversion date. I don't know what date ABAP is using. I think ABAP is using today's date. Let me put today's date and try that. Okay, because in ABAP we pass the current date guys. Okay, let me try with this and see the results. Yeah, in ABAP we pass side datum, so maybe it could be because of that. Okay, let's try with this. I just save the view once again, and we will quickly look at the output one more time after activating this view. Ideally they both should come very close. If not same, at least they should come closer to each other, both the ABAP output and HANA output. Now I come back to SQL console, re-execute my query, and now let's compare if they are coming closer to each other. So now I go back to ABAP, take a just look Del Bonte Industries. I just copy this. You can also do one thing. You can apply, I guess, a check here, Del Bonte, and the value is 1541217. Let's see here, 1189. It's not matching. There is some problem. There is some problem. It's not matching. I have to check that offline, guys. Give me some time. By tomorrow's class, I will check this. It should calculate the total gross as it is calculating in ABAP. Okay, so I need to check it. I would request you, if one of you also try that up, just try creating the whole scenario and try to see if you can match it to the ABAP output. If you can, then well and good. Otherwise, anyways, I'm going to check this up and let you know in tomorrow's class. But hope you got an idea how to code our data logic inside of SAP HANA. At least we are able to achieve the average number of open days properly, but there is a gross amount problem. This, I suspect that this is due to currency conversion. I suspect it. However, I'm not sure. Maybe it could happen that we have data in other client. So let me right now apply a filter on the client field and just check. Okay, we'll apply the filter on the client field in the system and see. Maybe, I'm not sure, it could so happen that we have data in other client, and it's just because ABAP gets the data only for 800 client right now. So I've applied a filter also on the client, and let's see if it works at least now. And Del Bonte 1189, and let's check Del Bonte, did it change? No, it's not changing. So there is a problem. There is some calculation which we are missing. Because of that, it's not working, or some currency conversion which we will never be able to figure out. But let me check that offline, and I come back to you how to produce the final output. With that, it's a wrap on today's class. In tomorrow's session, we will consume this in ABAP system, and I will also show you how do you pass value of this import parameter from ABAP. Yeah, this is an import parameter. How do you pass it from ABAP, guys? Right? You would be interested to know that. So that's what we will be looking into our next session. How to consume now this information model in ABAP. There are two techniques which I will teach you. First is called direct proxy creation. We will look at also the disadvantage of the technique. And then finally, we'll look at another option which we have in the system called ADBC. Yes, of course, how to transport this to quality system is also one major topic we will be looking at in tomorrow's class. Okay, so we'll look at that in tomorrow's class. If I start that topic, I'll not be able to complete. So please try and complete one use case of this with yourself, and try to complete the open item analysis scenario as well. Okay, so maybe we will see that if at least not in this system, then I'll show you in another system the desired output. It should match exactly the ABAP output. So either your ABAP is wrong or your HANA is wrong. So we need to correct that, whichever it is wrong. Okay, so see you next class. Any question before we close? Anybody? Any question before we close today's class?
Yeah, Anubhav,
Yes.
just a question like regarding the schema mapping. I
Yeah.
mean, have you tried like instead of putting a hard-coded value, like authoring the client as well as the physical schema, instead of that, can we send dynamically those values when we are transporting those things? while transporting, can we store those value in the schema and we can send it? I mean to say
No,
why? Because sometimes if we forget something to map, maybe it will fail. Yeah, definitely it will fail. Not maybe.
you don't have to manage that. That's what actually your schema mapping automatically doing it for you. It's the same alias name given to all three systems with the corresponding schema mapping related to your ABAP system in HANA. Okay, so that's exactly the only and the best way to do that. You don't manipulate these things during your transport. Okay, and that's not also good way to do that.
Okay, means we cannot change it dynamically. I mean
No,
to say when we are sending the
we
transport.
should
Okay.
not. There is no reason for that. Actually, there's no reason. It's always a static assignment and it's done during installation. Once installation is done with ABAP on HANA, it's done and it's never changed. It's like, you have uh, a switch on in ABAP system. Have you worked with enhancements in ABAP? Custom
Enhancement, yes.
enhancements, bodies, and switches. Switch framework. Have you worked with the ABAP?
Not baddies.
Or,
But
or,
yeah,
or tell
I
me
work
what
on
will
the,
happen if you have a structure and that structure is used in hundreds of program. If you delete that structure, what will happen?
it will impact all those, I mean,
Everywhere it will dump.
huge,
That's what
yes.
this means. So this is one system setting done all at once to define what's my ABAP and ABAP schema mapping with ABAP system in HANA. And it's once for all. And it's done by your system administrator. That's it. Okay, you don't touch it afterwards. It's just one setting you need to remember. Don't try to manipulate it. Mhm. Okay, great. So with that, it's a wrap on today's class. Let's check it out in tomorrow's class, how to fix this issue that we are facing right now. Maybe it's not an issue, maybe we are assuming to be an issue, but there has to be a valid reason why the data is not matching. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.